Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to get to VOLTAI the Accumulator in Another Crab's Treasure. So this is the boss's location as part of a walkthrough of Flotsam Vale. So this is what I think to be the most challenging place to find in the entire game. This is the most confusing. So the first thing we want to do is get the plug set into there, and then we're just going to proceed through this building. A lot of this section is about finding the plugs and putting them in the right place. Now they aren't the easiest things to find at a lot of these locations, so you may be wandering around not sure where to go. So this is going to be going from this location here. So that's the first moonsnail domain we got to find. There's going to be 3 here, and they're essential to making this a lot easier. So we're going to have to get ourselves a metal shell, and this is a big part of this section in Another Crab's Treasure. So we're just going to go here and then get ourselves up to the top so that we can get ourselves the plug that we need to put into that socket there. A lot of this section is just repeating this over and over with varying ways to get around the map. So just go on over past Firth there. So he's going to be in a lot of these places that we're going around. We're just going to go on to this here. There's a lot of magnetic sections, and we're just going to proceed past the crabs into the left-hand side. There's also a lot of really hidden spots that we got to grapple onto. So just jump up here and grapple up to here and continue along this way. There are some crystals that you can get if you jump across to different areas there, like onto that, but it's best just to continue along if you don't need the crystals. And we're just going to go up here and to the left and climb along the side of this. There's going to be like 3 to 4 main towers here that we got to mostly do the level platforming on. So come up onto here, and there's going to be an item. Now this next section is kind of hidden. So it's a stainless relic used to update the sword. And just jump on down this side here. So once we get down to here, there's going to be a large crystal that's kind of leading the way and where to go. But then afterwards, you actually have to proceed past here, and then there's going to be another grapple section here. This took me a little while at first to find. This is my second playthrough, so I was just speed running through here just to make this little guide, because I know this area confused me a lot, and I wish there was a guide whenever I was playing. So we're just going to continue along here to the second moon snail, and this is actually an important one because later on we're going to set a shortcut to here. So if you end up dying later on, you want to go back to this moon snail domain and not the future one, which is kind of funny. So there is a shortcut here. We're just going to wait for the magnet to come back. But yeah, you wanted to get to the top of that tower there. So this is probably the trickiest part in the entire game. So we're going to go into this tower here. There are some really good items. There's an elastic band around this area. I have a video on how to get to the elastic band, but I cut it out of this video just for the sake of time because it's a little bit off the beaten path here. But what we want to do is we want to get ourselves close down to the bottom, and you can see that there's a hook down there. So we're just going to grab the anemone here. And nice thing is no fall damage in this game because we're underwater, so it wouldn't really make sense that fall damage would hurt us. And we're just going to make our way over. There is an item down there you want to grab, but this is where the next plug is. This one really confused me when I first played through it because I was traveling back and forth between the towers. I just got overwhelmed with the amount of places we could go, and the towers themselves are pretty confusing. So yeah, you want to grab this plug here and then return back to this. So there's going to be that slingshot that you can grab onto. I accidentally fell down, so that's why the video's cut weird. But yeah, you're going to make our way back up here, avoiding these crabs that like to bully you, and plug it in. So that's going to move this up, and otherwise we wouldn't be able to make it across this section. So you're just going to get away from these bullies here and proceed along. And it's going to be even tougher because you don't have your shell now. So yeah, you want to keep your health high. We're just going to jump across here, and then now we can finally get up on top. And this is an important section. Again, there is an elastic band here that's necessary to beat VOLTAI, because, or not necessary, but she deals a lot of lightning damage, so you want to go and grab that. There is a crystal here that you can grab too, so I'd recommend grabbing that and then just proceeding to the top. Now there's another section where we got to find a plug. This one's pretty straightforward in where to find it. We're actually just going to run over to the left hand side here, and it's hidden away. So we're just going to come over to this edge, and it's just right back here. So that is the way to get it. I was lucky to just run over into this section, but I remember doing this my first playthrough. So yeah, you're just going to proceed back to this section over here. I think the biggest, most difficult one is going to the bottom of that previous tower. But yeah, this one, we're going to plug this in, and we make our way to the next tower where we have another moon snail domain. Now again, once we get to this one and unlock the next shortcut, you don't actually want to go to this moon snail domain. We want to go to the previous one because that's where the shortcut will be. So once you connect the dots here, we're just going to go down into this section. And there's going to be a big crab. So he's got electric attacks, and they'll take out your pretty much entire health bar. So I would recommend putting on the elastic band. You're going to see down the bottom left that I did put it on at a certain point. I don't know why I wasn't using it sooner, but I was going with the 2 sinkers and the health back stowaways, which I think are some of the best in another crab's treasure. So yeah, we're just going to continue along on this here. The Flotsam Vale is a pretty large area, and it's one of the more confusing ones, but once we get across, we're going to drop down to the bottom, and down here there's going to be a sponge and a boxing glove. So if you haven't grabbed the boxing glove, it's just right there. But we're going to grab this section here. The plug is just right up there, but the boxing glove is a good one to collect if you want to get a shell insurance on a heavier shell. It doesn't have the best attack for it, but yeah, we're just going to run back down here and watch out. There's a crab on this set of stairs that is incredibly hard to deal with, and then that's the electric crab there. So you're just going to go connect it into there, and then we can use this little claw hook shot to get up to the top. Now this is going to be another tricky area that we're going to watch out for some big enemies, so just be mindful of that. But we're going to proceed along here, watching out for these guys because they suck. That's why they put these here. But you actually have to go over to the left hand side there, so you want to flick this so that it puts the plug down underneath in this tower. But you just want to avoid these guys here, and you see that green climbable surface. You're just going to run over to that and make your way up it. Now there is a blood limb star here, so you can get and increase your health, but we're just going to continue along over to here, and you're actually going to climb down the side of this building. So it's another kind of confusing spot. We can jump across, use the hook shot to climb our way over, and just watch out for those spikes, because again, if you touch the spikes, you just fall to your demise, so we don't want that. And you actually attack really fast while on this, so always grab the crystals there. But yeah, we got hit there. And then there's a legendary item here, so another stainless relic for us to upgrade our weapon with. Watch over these guys. They hit extremely hard, but you can parry it when they're doing that attack. And we're going to actually drop down here, and there's another moonsnail domain that we want to grab. So just climb on down here, and you're just going to find the moonsnail domain here. But remember that we did flick a switch up above that's going to bring down the plug. So you're just going to climb back up, and there is the switch. So continue back down to where we've got that moonsnail domain. I would recommend just getting the moonsnail domain just in case you end up getting wrecked by them. But then we can go back to this next section. It's going to bring down a propane tank we can jump across. So we're just going to continue on to the back to that tower over there. And we're getting close to the end here, so this is quite the confusing area, but overall it's not too bad. So I hope this video was at least a bit useful for you. We're just going to jump onto this sponge here and make our way over to the opening. There's an item there you can grab, and another item there if you want to grab it, and some crystals. So there's lots of goodies all over this map, which is nice. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to speed run through it because I've already played through this game and done that all. So now it's the time to just help out other people in this very tricky location. Next, we're just going to go over to this the little section over here, and there's a giant crystal there you can grab. And what we're going to do is go back in through this way here. So we're just going to jump across, grab onto that, and climb to the top. Once you get up to the top, you can actually stand on this, but I would recommend not doing it for this because it is a little bit tricky because it goes in the wind. But there's going to be a hook shot that we can grapple onto in just a moment. So yeah, I would recommend not climbing to the top of it and just turning your camera around and jumping over that way, because you can now see the grapple hook. And now we're on the top of this one. So this is actually kind of a tricky section because there's that big hammer crab up there, and we need to get the bolt thing from there. So this is actually, see the tower that there's the moonsnail domain down there. This is the tower that if we end up dying here, we want to go and use the moonsnail domain to bring us back to 2 previous of the moonsnail domains, and then you can just go straight back up to here. So once you have that unlocked, you're just going to grab that, and yeah, I would watch out for this guy because he does hit really hard. And we just got to go make our way back down to where the plug goes into. And then we're almost out of this area. So really good. But again, that previous moonsnail domain will take you right to here. So if you do get lost, you can just warp your way back up to the top. Now, this is the last section here. You're going to encounter Firth, and he's just going to be talking about the enemy that we're going to face. I do have a guide on how to beat VOLTAI the Accumulator and Another Crab's Treasure, but if you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this video useful in some sort. But that is how to get to VOLTAI the Accumulator in Flotsam Vale in Another Crab's Treasure. Thanks for watching.